Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Mr. Outlaw here again to talk some more about how to use our Smokeless Image products. And actually today what I want to talk about is how to load our syringes. Now that Smokeless Image is getting the new CE3s, you're going to need a syringe if you plan on using them. It's the only way you can fill the bottom coil CE3s. It is a little bit to get used to, but I really believe once you do start using the syringe, you're going to want to use it to fill all of your devices, whether it be cartomizers or clearomizers or the CE3s. I personally think it's just easier. It's less mess. Excuse me. It takes a lot. It's a lot quicker, and you don't have to worry about counting drops and filling it up that way. So once you get the hang of it, I think you'll enjoy using it, but it does take a little bit to get a hang of it. All you really need to fill it up is your bottle of juice, and I'm using a 70-30 homemade blend of root beer, and your syringe, and then the needle. Now, when you get your box of CE3s, it comes with a 2.5 milliliter syringe, and it comes with 3 21-gauge needles. Okay, now you can go out and get some 20-gauge needles if you want something a little bit longer than these half-inch ones, but don't go any larger than a 20-gauge, because otherwise you're going to screw up the fill hole on the CE3 itself. And once the CE3s, and once I get mine, I'll make another video showing exactly how to fill and clean them. Okay, so let's get to this. There's a few different ways to do it. I'm going to show you all the different ways that I've used to fill them up. The first way is probably the messiest way until you get the hang of it. And what I do is I just take my bottle, I turn it upside down, I put my needle up inside the bottle, and then I just slowly draw back. Allow the vacuum to do the work, and slowly pull the juice out. Okay, if you pull back on the plunger too quickly, you're going to get a bunch of air. Just do it very slow. Again, it's still only going to take you 20 or 30 seconds to fill up everything. Once you get the juice in here, it's very easy to fill. It takes longer to get the juice in and then it does to fill. Now, sometimes you may get a drop that drips out. I usually just do it over a paper towel or something. I fill a syringe about halfway up, maybe a little bit more, and that's about it. Now, I do have a little tiny air bubble in there. So all I do is just kind of give a little push so one little drop comes out the tip of the needle and I'm good. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now, again, I'm using a 70% PG juice, so it's not quite as thick as people who may be using a 50-50 blend or a 30% PG or even 100% VG. So if you're using a thicker juice, you're going to probably need to use a different method because it's going to take a lot longer to draw the fluid in doing it that way, and you'll probably end up dripping more out. Okay. The other solution you can have if you do want to fill it up that way would be to get yourself just a larger gauge needle, which this is like a 16 gauge needle or a 14 gauge needle. I'm not even sure which one. Put it on there, and once you fill it up, then change out the needles to the one you need for the CE3. Okay. So for the next method, I'm going to tilt the camera down and show you how I do it. So you'll hear me, but you won't be able to see me. Okay, which is probably a good thing. So what I do here is I take the cap from my juice bottle, I just lay it flat on the table and just fill it up. I don't even count drops, I just fill it up. Anything that I don't use, I can put right back in my bottle. Then I just take my syringe, I hold it with one hand, and I slowly pull back on the plunger with the other hand until it's nice, until I fill it up. And at this point, what I do is I take all of the juice that I put into that cap out. So you just want to keep going until you get some air, and then you'll know it's empty. Now, obviously, I'm doing this away from me, so I can't see how much I have in there. But I pulled it all out. I can hear the air. And you can look inside my cap, and it's empty. Okay? Then again, I do have air in my syringe. Okay? And I just slowly push it up until, just like you see, you know, in the hospital or whatever, until I get a dropout. And that's the other way to do it. Okay? So, now, if you have a thicker juice, and I'm going to put this back in the cap here. If you have a thicker juice, you know, again, you're dealing with a 21 gauge needle, you might want to just take the needle off and put the top of the syringe in and pull it out that way. And we're all set that way. I've got all my juice out, you know, maybe one drop down on the top, which I can use the needle. And then again, I've just got air in there, so I'm just gonna, you know, push all the air out. Okay? And then I would put my needle back on, and now I can fill up the syringe. Again, it'll be easier to fill your CE3 than it will be to fill up the syringe. Okay, now, so that's the other way you can do this. Your last option would be to take the little dropper that you have on your bottle, and you can take that off. Okay? And if you can get yourself longer needles, like a 20 gauge or a longer 21 gauge, and be able to put it into your bottle all the way. Okay? And just load it up that way. And this way you can sit the bottle on the ground and load it up this way. And again, allow the plunger to do your work. If you pull it up, you're going to see the air. When you see the air and you know that the needle's still in there, just stop pulling for a minute and the juice will catch up. And that's it. And then again, all I do is just get the air out by just giving it a little squeeze till a drop comes out. Okay, so that's how you fill up your syringe. And then once you have your syringe full, okay, I'm going to put on the smaller needle because that needle is a little bit thicker than I need. Once you take your Phoenix, pull off your little end cap. You got that there. You find your fill hole. You push your needle into the fill hole. And again, as I'll discuss in my other video, and I've discussed in the ones I've already done, upside down. Just slowly fill it up. You're just going to push in until it gets all the way up into the top. You got to make sure when you do this, especially the first time, that you go all the way to the top. You can't put a half a bottle in there. Okay? Then I take whatever's left in my syringe, put it back in my bottle. So it was nice and easy, and like you can see, to get the cartomizer filled, it's nice and easy. Then I can just put it on my battery. You don't even have to blow through the tube or anything. Put my end cap back on. And vape. So like I said, guys, once you get the hang of using the syringe and filling it up, which is the most difficult part, is filling the syringe, I think you'll really like it. So until next time, guys, happy vaping.